Patarubhyascha kripasindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityaṁ Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Kṛṣṇa Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Thank you so much, dear worshipable devotees, for joining. We are reading Granthra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 10, entitled The Deliverance of Yamalarjuna Trees, basically Nalkuvir and Manigriva. So let's begin with a few prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā. Bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati nashtaki. Ārādhayo bhagavan vracheshatanayas tadhāma vrindavanam. Ramya kāchitupāsana vrachavadhu vargena vā kalpita. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam pramanamamalam prema pumartho mahan. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu matamidam tatradhara napara. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Kṛṣṇa Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for joining. We are reading Granthra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 10, Text 10, 10, 10, 10. A bunch of 10. And so far, we read the last few verses were spoken by Narada Muni, who we discussed two things yesterday. One is that how the dangers of material wealth or money, opulence, Aishwarya. And then we discuss also that one should not cause unnecessary harm to other living beings, especially those who are dependent on humans, primarily the animals, whether the cows, goats, fishes, deers, etc. So unnecessary killing for excursion, for fun, one should not harm that, harm other beings. These two are the main points as explained by Sri Narada. Let's move on to the next verse, which is text number 10. Deva Sangitam apyante karmi vidbhasma sangitam bhuta druktat kriti swartham kim veda nirayo yataha. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. While living, one may be proud of one's body, thinking oneself a very big man, minister, president, or even a demigod. But whatever one may be, after death, this body will turn either into worms, into stool, or into ashes. If one kills poor animals to satisfy the temporary whims of this body, one does not know that he will suffer in his next birth. For such a sinful miscreant must go to hell and suffer the results of his or her actions. For put in this verse, three words, krimi, with, bhasma, are significant. After death, the body will become krimi, which means worms. For if the body is disposed of without cremation, it may be eaten by worms, or else it may be eaten by animals like hogs and vultures and be turned into stool. Those who are more civilized burn the dead body, and thus it becomes ashes. Wow. Bhasma sangitam. Sangitam. Yet, although the body will be turned into worm, stool, or ashes, foolish persons, just to maintain it, commit many sinful activities. This is certainly regrettable. The human form of body is actually meant for jivasya tattva jigyasa, enlightenment in knowledge of spiritual values. Therefore, one must seek shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. Tasmad gurum prapadye. One must approach a guru. Who is guru? Shabde parecha nishnatam. Bhagavatam 11:3-21. A guru is one who has full transcendental knowledge. Unless one approaches a spiritual master, one remains in ignorance. Acharyavan Purusho Veda, Chandogya Upanishad 6.14.2. One has full knowledge about life when one is Acharyavan, controlled by Acharya. But when one is controlled by Rajo Guna and Tamo Guna, one does not care about anything. Instead, one acts like an ordinary foolish animal, risking his life, mrityu samsara vartamani, and therefore continuing to go through suffering after suffering. Nate vidusvartha gatim hi Vishnu, Bhagavatam 7.5.31. Such a foolish person does not know how to elevate himself in this body. Instead, he indulges in sinful activities and goes deeper and deeper into hellish life. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Thank you so much for those who joined a little later. Thank you for taking out your time to read and study Bhagavatam together. This is really very, very important verse and very, very practical in this day and age. We see so many people unnecessarily, not that they are hungry and not that there is no food in their life and then they want to eat animals, whatever animals they eat, or fishes or aquatics, whatever. But it is out of what is mentioning here? It is out of their being proud. Oh, I am great. I am wealthy. I have a lot of resources. I have the right to kill others because I am in this species. So one artificially becomes puffed up, not knowing. Ultimately, at the time of death, it is said that when Alexander, a nice story here, when Alexander, who conquered practically the whole world, and when he died or he was about to die, he said, he had three choices. He had three things he wanted. That his arms should be outstretched in the coffin. And there should be a lot of, aishwarya around him, like gold, food, like good food, wealth, etc. And then there should be a lot of doctors, vaidyas around him also. The people asked him, why, sir? What are you trying to convey? He says, number one, in spite of having best of the doctors, best of the technical advancement, technological advancement, etc., we cannot say. Even Michael Jackson, right? He died pretty young, around 50 years, in spite of so many things he was trying to do with so that he does not have to die. And then why hands outstretched, said that no matter we are Alexander or no matter we are an ordinary pauper in the street, when we go, nothing goes with us. Rather, the body becomes three things. What are the three things? Anyone knows?
Stool, ashes, and
Rushes and worms. Worms, yeah. It turns into like worms, worms, so many times you may have been like, I was taking a walk this morning and I saw a lizard was dead and other tiny worms were eating it, right? We may have all seen sometimes these small bodies, sometime on the road, sometime the birds, catching or the worms catching, and it happened and it may happen to anyone's body. One may say, no, my family will do my last rites, and what they'll do, either they'll burn or they'll bury, right? These are the most common ways. But still, ultimately, it returned to ashes, from dust to dust. There's a whole seminar by His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj for 5 seminars. From dust to dust. From dust we came, and dust we go. But ultimately, we become so proud of the little dust we have. Home, part of dust. Car, it's all dust particles, right? So, in short, one should not kill others. Yeah, simply to satisfy one's temporary whims. Like we discussed example of hunting, fishing yesterday. Why? Someone will say why, right? Because the scriptures say it. Narada Muni saying it. Someone will say, hey, why do I believe in scriptures? Then how will we answer? Anyone? Why do we put faith in this statement? My uncle said something totally else. That did, So why I should put faith here? My uncle says something, or there's a theory that we were discussing yesterday. Someone says that, well, if you kill deers, you are helping to maintain the ecological balance by controlling their population. Otherwise, they will. So, what's the rationale? Can anyone share a point or two? I will reply to such ideas. Did anyone get the question? Is the question making sense? The question is clear, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
Shilpamata, it is not clear?
No, Prabhu. Could you repeat the question?
The question is that here it is mentioned, if one kills poor animals, one will certainly suffer a lot of hellish reactions, right? Because it's sinful to kill others. So someone will say, well, my uncle says totally else, totally different thing. My uncle says it's totally fine. And he's a big accomplished doctor. He's a big accomplished, respectable person in the society. And he says, no, it's okay to kill others. He kills, he does fishing, he does hunting, and he also propagates that message. But so why should I put my faith here? Why don't I put my faith in my uncle?
Because of the rishis who I think you mentioned that in the scriptures, it is given, and the scriptures are given by the rishis who meditate upon God, and they get the knowledge directly from God. It's not like, and how do we believe, right? Then, I mean, in Kali Yuga, I don't think we can manually meditate upon God and get that knowledge, because it's degrading. Right? We cannot do. Rather, and though we do, I think in Bhagavatam, it's like we can know about Krishna, but we cannot know completely about Krishna. So rather than wasting time knowing about Krishna, better to follow. So same. I'm just thinking that. Please correct.
Good points. Anyone else wants to add to that?
So, Prabhuji, may I ask?
Yeah.
So, how will answer the question, spiritually or materially? How should, how you want the question to be answered?
Either way, whatever comes to your mind.
So, in material aspect, harming others or violence is not good. And spiritually is that all are children of Krishna, all are children of Bhagavan. So if you kill each other, means you are killing their Krishna's child, and you are not allowed to do so. And if you do so, you are, as Prabhupada also mentioned in the purport, you go to the hellish life. So this life you are killing, that animal, next life, that animal will kill you. So it will be going on and on.
The law of karma. Very nice. Very nice. More points anyone has? Why? My specific question is, why do I trust here? Why do I put my faith in this statement? Why not my uncle's statement?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I'll just try. So we can say that, we have to get this knowledge from parampara. So Krishna is telling that, and so we can see that the Guru Parampara is coming from Lord Krishna all the way to Srila Prabhupada, and we are getting all this knowledge. And some of these scientists' knowledge is speculative, and something they are trying to understand with our five imperfect senses. So we can also say in that, of course, and we can say that even just a small blade cut and you bleed, you feel a lot of pain, and you can tell them that how much pain that living entity will go through at that moment. And that's my 2 cents. Hare Krishna.
Yes, scriptures are called apurusheya. They're not written by any Tom, Dick, Harry. Today this uncle says something, tomorrow some other uncle will say something. Let's look at the practical reality of this COVID itself. There are 100 theories, how it happened, what is right. Someone will say this vaccine is right, someone will say that vaccine is, someone will say no vaccine is right, someone will say all vaccine are right. And they're all established doctors, right? And they don't have a consensus of opinion, right? So the point is, scriptures don't change. There is no like Bhagavatam part 2. There's no, oh, we forgot to mention this. Oh, that's the what we said before is not applicable now. Bhagavatam does not change. They are called apurusheya. Modern or people, ordinary people who give all these theories, they have 4 defects: tendency to make mistakes, tendency to be cheated, tendency to imperfect senses, and cheating propensity. Tendency to be illusion, tendency to make mistakes, etc. So, but scriptures and the bona fide representatives of God, acharyas, are free from all that. And the taste of the greatness of pudding, what's that statement? Lies in its taste. Like, you try it out, right? You try it out and feel for yourself. So ultimately, when we put faith in the scriptures, we will understand that all these will make sense. But of course, it's not always so easy for everyone because of past conditioning and stuff. Then therefore, many people ignore scriptures, right? But therefore, we should have all these points handy so that we can help people understand from different avenues that how scriptures are there to help us. Scriptures are not there to cheat us. Scriptures are there to help us to avoid these pitfalls, avoid going to hellish planets. That's the main purpose, so that we don't do these, and take shelter of bona fide spiritual master. That is the main essence also. The part 2 of this verse, to take shelter of a bona fide guru, and attain spiritual knowledge, not ask about, okay, when will I get a new job, or when will I get this or that. But the goal is inquire about spiritual knowledge. Okay, yes, Shilpa Mataji.
Prabhu, one common question, a commonly asked question, then why are wouldn't plants be hurt?
Why should we not hurt? Oh, sorry, again, why?
Why should we rely on plants then? Even plants would be can get hurt, right? It is also a prana. It is also coming from God. So what?
Correct. Yes. And there are multiple ways to answer that, and maybe let's kind of write all those points so that we can. Jiva jivasya jivanam, right? So we don't, first of all, no unnecessary hurting anyone, whether plants. So one should not hurt plants also unnecessary, but we have to survive on things for our body. Now one may say, because Krishna recommends, the Dharma Shastra recommends that the food for humans is grains, right? It's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna also says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. One should offer to me. And then Krishna also says that one who does not eat what is offered to Krishna is eating sin. So basically, the sinless food is the grains and the fruits, vegetables, etc. Right? So we should not cause harm to plants unnecessary, but to survive, we cause minimal harm to environment, minimal harm. And the food chain point can also be shared, like the amount of food required to feed, with like 1 kilogram of meat, let's say it feeds 5 people, this same amount of resources required to generate the vegetarian food will be able to feed like 20 people, because the higher the food chain, the more resources are required. Then one is scriptures approve it, right? It's mentioned in the scriptures, right? What else? And a very important point, if the plants are supposed to, they are designed by nature or Krishna in that way. Let's say, you take, what are the fruits? You take a mango from a mango tree. It's not you're cutting the whole tree. Next season, the plants give so much that they're designed to take something and give something. They give like hundreds of mangoes. Like, do they have children? Or like, and those mangoes, if the humans consume by offering to Krishna, next season they will give hundreds of more mangoes. But same, let's say if someone chops off a limb of an animal, it's not that after a few months a new limb will come off, right? That's another very logical point. The universal design, one has to study that also. And minimal harm to environment. Any other point you may be missing, or anyone is thinking?
I heard something like, I don't know if that is true, but a while ago when in my college or so, I asked the same question to one of vegetarian friend, and she said she was explaining like plants do not get hurt like other species like who carry blood, flesh, and so forth. They don't plants do not feel the sensation of hurt, whereas other human beings and everybody else with flesh and blood would feel. I don't know if that is correct at that point I believed, but not
Their
sure.
consciousness is less developed.
Yeah.
It's not that they don't have feeling. It's less. It's less. You know, they in the hierarchy of consciousness or intelligence, they're less developed. But if we say plants don't have feelings, that would be not be correct. It's less.
Okay. But I think universal design is what I heard from one other friend, that they are meant to be, and they are like happily giving to the people who are in need. It's not like, okay, we put a lot of fertilizer to yield more and so forth. That is hurting, right? Hurting the plant. Rather, it's if it is naturally grown with sun, water, and minimum nutrients from the soil, then it's happily giving. It's not like we have to throw stones and get it, but once it's ripe, really good, it just drops for us to pick up and eat. So I heard the universal design rule, which matches. Thank you.
Very nice. So I think all these points, this is a commonly asked question, certainly. So we are not vegetarians, and a very, very important point. Dharma approves it, Krishna approves it. Krishna, for us, what's the topmost reason? Because Krishna relished that. We are not vegetarians or non-vegetarians. We are Krishnatarian, we say. Krishna does not say, offer me meat, eggs, fish, chicken, all that. He says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Right? So milk products, vegetables, fruits, fresh grains, etc. He likes it. We like to feed him, and then we take the remnants as prasad.
And
So-
one other argument, sorry, Prabhu, I'm kind of
Yeah.
dragging it in. One other argument that other devotees, they're also devotees, but they make like one of the devotee, I don't remember he's a great devotee of Lord Shiva, and he offered, but fully ignorant king, so he offered meat to Lord Shiva. It's one of the movie in our Telugu. This one, and Lord Shiva accepted it because he offered with love to him, but it's a sin. But then also he forgave the devotee. So it's people take those kind of 1 in a million case, and then they try to argue with the vegetarian food or something. I just want to be,
There are some scriptures where it is mentioned one can eat meat. Therefore, we should read the right scriptures. And it's mentioned how one should. Like, for example, I have a desire to eat meat, let's say a goat. Then the person who has desire to eat meat should himself chop that and say in the ear, "Oh, goat, because of my selfish desires, I'm about to chop you off, and I give you the permission in next life tables will turn and you have the right to chop me off. And then offer to Kali and then eat. But that too also on a only particular day of the month. So why these things are mentioned? The idea is to regulate. If person is eating daily meat and that too without any second thought, the idea is if a person who's even little sanity will not, the idea is, what am I speaking? I'm speaking that I will be becoming this goat and this person will be chopping me off. The idea is to stop that thing. But as you said, and these movies are made and then they become like role model. And yeah, there are multiple temples where they offer alcohol to Lord Shiva. Oh, Lord Shiva drank bhang. Oh, he drank. He's our real hero, right? He's the original. Bhang is intoxication. Lord Shiva drank the ocean of poison. And then they connect it to halal, which was ocean of poison. And then they say this is our ocean of poison. It's all nonsense and concoctions and stuff. So Lord Shiva won't be happy with such ideas. So ultimately we can concoct what we can concoct, but it's sad that when these things come in public and innocent people get bewildered. They think, oh, in the TV it said, oh, Lord Shiva accepted, so let me offer. It becomes harder then.
Prabhu, one more argument. Sorry, I'm trying to clear all my questions. I get most of these questions from friends when I go vegetarian, or when they ask me what are you, like vegan or vegetarian, and then that's when the argument comes. I don't feel like being in an argument, but at least try to answer. One of the question, if I don't know, I'll just stay calm. But that's one of the other questions. So they say Rama is a Kshatriya, and then Kshatriyas are meant to, is okay to consume meat. Then wouldn't that be contradiction to what Krishna says? Pushpam Patram Palam. I mean, to have the strength and all and fight as a warrior, they might have gone. And I think in one of the website also it is given that Kshatriyas need, or they used to consume meat to fight the war and so forth. Is it true, Prabhu? If it is not important, please ignore it.
This is nice that you are clarifying in a humble, genuine way. Many people, firstly, are not humble to even know this. They want a stamp for their actions, right? They want a stamp, and then they will only pick that. You have to understand that there is one statement that in Ramayana which says, "Hey, don't eat meat in the forest." Now, people misconclude that, oh, that means he was eating meat in the forest, prior to going to the forest, right? Like my brother, when I went to college, told me, don't get into wrong company in the college, right? That means I was into wrong company before, right? That's a false conclusion which can be derived just like so. Partial statements without understanding the whole depth of the scripture. And even like I always give this example of a doctor said to a patient, hey, smoke 2 cigarettes a day. But that just quoting that, oh, the famous Dr. John so and so, who is a world famous doctor, has said that smoke 2 cigarettes a day. But to whom did he say? He said to a person who was smoking 2 packets of cigarette a day. So I think That's what happened with most people, and they want to just selectively pick statements to justify their actions. So first of all, Lord Ram never, yes, the fighting, hunting is mentioned, they would go, but again, for a higher cause. For a higher cause, if to protect a society, it is said, if to protect a family, if one person needs to be sacrificed, okay. Right? If to protect a village, one family needs to be compromised, it's okay. If to protect a society, one village needs to be compromised, it's okay. And if to protect a one nation, one village needs to be compromised, it's okay. So you have to see the higher purpose, right? So it was not because of their selfish things. We have to understand the whole dynamics. Who are these people? Paradukha Dukhi. We have to read about the stories of like Shibhi Maharaj, right? When he came, these were Raj Rishis. They were not just kings. You all know the story of Shibhi Maharaj? Let me share it real quick. That's the example we should, even for Lord Ram, a dog could come in the kingdom and get justice. But Shibhi Maharaj was so great, and at one time a dove came, pigeon, dove, right? And said, this eagle is biting me. The eagle is about to take my life. Help me out. I'm yours. I'm your citizen. I'm in your kingdom. You have to help me. You have to give me shelter. The king would give protection to everyone. So how, and they would treat, what is a real king? They would treat everyone as their own child. So how can a parent try to kill, not Kali Yuga parent, the real, ideal king, ideal parent can even think of even slightest harm to their own child? Will any parent want to consciously want to harm their child? Not even in their dreams, right? So how can they think of consciously and with for their selfish agendas try to harm their own children? Never. So he said, okay, I will give you protection. But the eagle said, well, Jiva Jivasya Jivanam. I'm eagle. The design is I have to eat these creatures. I will not eat ghas poosh. I'll eat him. He said, okay, I understand that you have to eat flesh, which is fine, like a tiger has to eat flesh. So you eat my flesh. Whatever the weight of the pigeon is, we'll get a weighing balance on two sides. One side we put the pigeon, the dove, and one side I will cut equivalent weight of my body, flesh, whatever 100 grams, 200 grams, whatever that weight is, you be happy. Leave this pigeon. Your stomach is filled, and the pigeon also. So both the creatures are protected. The eagle agreed. The pigeon one was on one side, and Shibhi Maharaj, where this band is, he started to put his flesh. He put 100 grams, 200, 300. The pigeon was heavier. It's not coming down, right? I mean, the pigeons are not that heavy. He already had put a lot of flesh in there from his own, like chopping off body, hand, legs. Finally, there was nothing left. The pigeon was still heavier. He was about to chop off his head and put on the pan. And suddenly, both the pigeon and the eagle, they were demigods testing the greatness of Shibhi Maharaj. So these are the stories we should focus more. But what do people pick? Oh, he ate, the Kshatriyas ate. This is all, ideal kings would never do that, right? A king like Hiranyakashipu, Ravana mentality, probably. But the Raj Rishis, they never caused harm unnecessary. So if one is genuine, open to understand, they'll understand. For those who don't want to understand, we can have 2 hours of dialogue. They will not change because they already know that what they know is correct and they are not open to hearing. For those who are open to hearing and have little faith in scriptures, then we can explain them. Otherwise, we can just say, Hari Bol.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I'll just walk away once I get to understand that there's start of an argument. It's of no use. But thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
His Grace Chaitanya Prabhu has these questions nicely answered also. Did Lord Ram eat meat? Is like a frequently asked question. On his website, you can get a good response. Did Lord Ram eat meat? And whatever little bit I shared is what I heard from him only. Let's read one more verse. Text 11. Anyone who didn't get chance yesterday or wants to read? Aswati Mata, you want to read? Upendra Prabhu, you want to try?
I can read, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, please.
Deha ki man dutu swam nishektur mature vacha matu pitu va balina kretu ragne shuna piba. Translation. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. While alive, does this body belong to its employer, to the self, to the father, the mother, or the mother's father? Does it belong to the person who takes it away by force, to the slave, master who purchases it, or to the sons who burn it in the fire? Or if the body is not burned, does it belong to the dogs that eat it? Among the many possible claimants, who is the rightful claimant? Not to ascertain this, but instead to maintain the body by sinful activities is not good. So here, the translation in this text says the question about the body. So who actually belong to this body? Who is the proprietor of this human body or any body? I mean, I think this all the species we mentioned here. So actually, what I understood from here is that we need to understand who we are and what's the relationship of us with Krishna. And this body actually is the temporary body, and we always have know that it's we heard always that we are not the body but the soul. So that's why what it says that not to assert in this, but instead of maintain the body by. So we don't know our body belongs to whom. So that's why without knowing about those, if we are uncertain, so it's not good to have those sinful activities, because according to our karma, we'll take our karma to the next life, and according to our sinful actions, we'll get another body. So, Prabhuji, please back to you. Hare Krishna, please correct and explain.
Hare Krishna. Narad Muni is speaking a lot about, the body, the soul. Basically, human life is, as Mataji was so nicely mentioning, it's not a life to just live sinfully. Do what you want, eat what you want, sleep where you want, and khao piyo, ash karo, live life king size. Don't worry about tomorrow. Just enjoy. That's what people do. Work hard, party harder. You only live once. YOLO. Fear of missing out, FOMO. All these things are quite common. Beg, borrow, or steal. Enjoy. Right? These are very common things. But the point is, one should ask. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Ask, inquire. Who does this body belong to? Does it belong to the mother? Does it belong to the father? Does it belong to Annadatta? Annadatta is employer. Annadatta mentioned here. A person who basically gives us money to buy grains and sustain. Whom does it belong? People say, oh, it's my employer. Someone say, oh, my child. Oh, my daughter. Oh, my son. Some wife will say, oh, my husband. Son will say, oh, my father. So many stamps we have put. Some will say, oh, my countrymen, right? So many stamps. As soon as the child is born, so many stamps are put. Oh, my grandson will become a doctor. Oh, my son, I will make him what I could not do. So many tons of expectations are thrown as soon as, oh, his name will be this. No, someone says, no, I'll put him this name. Oh, so the child is like 1 day, 5 days old, and so many stamps are already thrown upon him or her. But the real point is, you have to understand who we really are. As mentioned in this verse, not to ascertain this, but instead to maintain by sinful activities is not good. So what is good? Basically to ascertain this, ascertain, what does ascertain mean? Anyone knows? Let's try to. What does ascertain mean? Who will tell?
Ascertain means certainly.
Close. Ascertain means to find out for certain. To figure out for certain. So let's go to this. I was digging various meanings. Find out for certain. That's meaning by ascertain. So not to ascertain this, that means they don't ascertain this. Who does this body belong to? They belong to the ants. Who is the rightful claimant? Or not to ascertain this, but instead to maintain the body by sinful activities is not good. Right? So rather than just doing this, maintaining the body by sinful activity is not good. So what is good? To ascertain, you see two knots, right? Not to ascertain and not here. The two knots cancel, negative, negative, positive. So what is a very good idea? To ascertain. To ascertain what is this? Who is the rightful claimant? This here refers to who is the rightful claimant? Whom we really belong to? Jivera Swarup Hoy Krishna Nitya Das. That's what we have to figure out. Or that's what we have to understand. That we are Krishna's part and parcel. We are Jiva. What is that? What is that famous verse in Bhagavad Gita? That we are all part and parcel of the Supreme Being. We are all His children. I'm forgetting that. Jiva. Okay, I'll think about it later. But this one is also equally fitting. that we are Krishna's, he's the real father, he is the seed-giving father, he is the supreme proprietor. That's what Bhagavad Gita is telling us. That's what one should try to ascertain or find out for certain. Certain means pakka pakka, not just, oh, maybe I'm the body, maybe I'm Indian, maybe life is meant to enjoy. What is the real truth? For certain, try to find out. And that's what Prabhupada is giving. And scriptures ascertain this truth. That means they tell this for certain. There's no doubt there. It's not that maybe you're this, maybe you're that. No, figure it out. That's what Gyanis do. In the scriptures, we are for a descending process. For the Guru Shishya Parampara, they give us the facts very crystal clear. Any more thoughts anyone has in this? Yeah, Mamay Vamsho, Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, Manashishtani Indriyani, Prakriti Sthani Karshati. Very nice. This is exactly what I was thinking of. Thank you. Mamay Vamsho, Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. All are my part and parcel. They are all, Krishna says, they are come out of me. So, who has the rightful claim? Krishna. We are Krishna's. I am yours, you are mine. You should tell Krishna. You are my rightful proprietor. Sarvasva toma charani sampiya. Tami thakur ami tomara kukur. I am yours, Krishna. I'm your dog. I'm your pet dog. I'm not the property of others, my employer. All these temporary connections are there with husband, wife, family, kids, etc., nation, property. These are all temporary connections. What is our real connection? Krishna. Any more thoughts anyone has? Additions in this text?
Hare Krishna
Before-
Prabhu. So another text I was thinking, Pita Mahasya Jagato, like Krishna says, I'm the father, I'm the mother, I'm the grandson.
Yes. Mata Dhata Pitamaha Vidyam Pavitrom Karariksama Vijurevacha. Aham Bij Pradapita. I'm the seed giving father. It's another beautiful verse.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you, Prabhu. Very, very relevant verse. What does Rama think? Whom do we really belong to?
Lord Krishna.
We belong to Lord Krishna. That's perfect. That's all we have to know. Lord Ram says, Sakradeva Prapanna Tav Asmi Iti Yachati. If someone says, oh Lord, I am yours, all you have to say, oh Krishna, I'm yours. Right? His Grace Nityaṁ Prabhu was mentioning, people say in this world to maybe their spouse, some opposite sex and all that. Oh, I'm willing to do anything for you. I'm yours, right? And others are saying, hey, this girl was with someone 2 weeks back and he's just trying to trick you. Come on, have some sense. I said, no. That's true love.
Not this time. Not this time,
Not
you were
this
saying. This is
It's
true,
all-
not this time.
Yeah, he said in a very, very funny way, a lot of things. But the point is, it's all, very, very, it's like a drop of water, right? Well, even the best of the husband, the best of the wife, the best of the children, the best of the parents, till what point they can help? Till the end of this life. The best of the best. If in the next life we become a worm in the ant, will any of our friends, relatives accompany? Only Krishna will accompany. Therefore, he is our real. Any more thoughts before we pause for today? Okay, so we will pause here and connect tomorrow again and read from text 12 onwards. Granthra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaste. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Thank you. Hare Bol. Jai Śrīla Prabhupada.
Krishna Guruji.